You won't believe what this girl did. This girl is named Isabella Guzman. She lived in Colorado with her mother and stepfather. Isabella and her mother would often argue, and one day Isabella sent her mom an email saying, "You will pay." Later that day, Isabella's mother got home from work. Isabella followed her mother into her bedroom with a knife and baseball bat. She then proceeded to take her own mother's life. Isabella was arrested and went to court. But that's when Isabella went viral. Many people made fan cams of Isabella, and some people mimicked her actions in court. Many comments said she looks so innocent and should be freed, despite the terrible thing she did. In recent years, Isabella has done an interview. She said that she is now totally normal and should be freed. But do you believe her? You won't believe what this girl did. This girl is named Claire Miller. She lived in Colorado with her sister Helen. Helen was in a wheelchair, so Claire would look after her. But on the 22nd of February 2021, cops got a phone call at 1 a.m. It was from Claire telling them to come to the house. When cops arrived, they saw Claire outside. Claire repeatedly said, "I stabbed my sister." Claire had taken Helen's life. She was immediately arrested, but that's when she went viral. Her TikTok account gained thousands of followers, but it was later removed. The reason why Claire did what she did is still unknown. This man was sentenced to 35 years in prison and laughed in the FBI's face. In 2009, Abduwali Muse, a Somali pirate, hijacked a ship. He hijacked the ship off the coast of Somalia. The ship was able to overpower Abduwali, but the 3 other pirates held the ship's crew hostage. Amazingly, all of the ship's crew and its captain survived, but the pirates kept the ship's captain. Eventually, the US Navy SEALs were called in. 3 snipers had to simultaneously snipe all of the pirates, but Abduwali made it out alive and was arrested by the US Navy. He was taken by the US Navy back to the USA, but as he was leaving court, a shocking sight was seen. Abduwali laughed in the FBI's face. This mafia boss was arrested after being seen on Google Maps. Giacchino Gamino was an Italian mafia boss. In 2002, he escaped from a prison in Italy. He then fled to Madrid, Spain, and he laid low there for 20 years. He worked in a mafia-themed pizza restaurant. He was basically hiding in plain sight, but one day a cop browsing Google Maps thought he saw Gamino. He suspected it was him simply from his posture and his clothing. They sent out a cop to stake out the grocery store he went to every day. That's when they realized it was Gamino. Gamino was then arrested and taken back to Italy. He will soon face trial and go back to prison, maybe the same one he escaped from 20 years prior. This teenager hacked dozens of Teslas. This is 19-year-old David Colombo from Germany. A few days ago, he hacked Tesla. Not the company, but people's individual cars. David was able to hack into more than 25 Teslas across 13 countries. The scary part is he gained full control over these cars. This meant he could drive and control these people's cars from a totally different country. He could also see the car's exact location at any moment. He could see if the driver was present too, and also do things like open and close the doors. It's pretty scary that a teenager could do this. Do you trust these self-driving vehicles, or do you think they're too vulnerable to hackers like David? Real prison escapes caught on camera. In 2016, a helicopter was hijacked. It was taken to a prison in Quebec, Canada. 2 prisoners then jumped onto a rope and were taken out of the prison by the helicopter. They did escape, but a few hours later they were caught and arrested yet again. Claudio da Silva was a Brazilian prisoner, but one day he tried to escape using a disguise. He put on a mask and women's clothing and tried to walk out of the prison. In 2016, El Chapo escaped from prison. He was the leader of the Sinaloa cartel. A massive tunnel was dug underneath his cell. The tunnel had lights, vents, and even a motorbike. He was able to simply ride away. In 1995, someone broke the wall of the Copenhagen prison with a bulldozer. This caused 12 inmates to escape. Surprisingly, the inmates did this because they wanted to go to a football game. These are the strictest prisons in the world. Black Dolphin is known as the worst prison in Russia. Inmates are taken here blindfolded. They're moved around bent over so they can never map out the prison and plan an escape. The prison is freezing cold and has no heating whatsoever. Inmates are kept behind 3 sets of bars, and they're only allowed outside their cells for 1 hour per day. Fuchu prison is found in Japan. Inmates are not allowed to speak even when they have visitors. They're also not allowed to look up. They must always look down. Inmates can't even sit how they like. There's a chart inside their cells telling them how to sit. They also must do 40 hours of manual labor every single week. Salt Pit is a secret prison in Afghanistan. Inmates say that sometimes they're not allowed to sleep for 17 days. They're also sometimes not given food by the guards. This man served the shortest prison sentence of all time. This is 23-year-old Shane Jenkins. In summer of 2019, he said that he was going to break a woman's window. That night, he went to the woman's house and broke her window with a broom. But the woman was prepared and had already called the police. The police got there, but Shane ran away. But hours later, Shane was caught by the police. When he was caught, he was made to write an apology note to the woman and the police. All he wrote was, "I'm sorry and I didn't mean to hurt anyone." The case then went to court and the judge sentenced him to 50 minutes in jail. That's right, he was in and out of jail in less than 1 hour. Do you think that he got off too easy, or do you think that 50 minutes is enough? After all, he only broke a window and he did apologize. This man was handed a note and knows he's about to die. The man in this video is named Chileno Sanchez. He was a very famous Mexican singer. One day he was performing a concert. That's when someone hands him a note. The note says, "If you play this next song, you will die." Chileno looks very scared, but then crumbles up the note and continues the song. He gave one of the best performances of his life, almost like he knew it would be his last. Chileno finished and said a very long goodbye to everyone in the band. He then left the venue and got in his car to drive home. But on the way he was pulled over by police. But it soon turned out these were not police. They were simply pretending in order to pull over Chileno. The men then shot Chileno, taking his life. To this day, we're still not sure who did this or why. Some believe that it may be cartel related. This man was arrested for being too handsome. In 2013, Omar Burkan Al-Ghala was arrested in Saudi Arabia. He was later deported from the country entirely, but it was the reason why which made headlines around the world. The authorities were worried that he was too good looking. Omar is an actor and photographer from Dubai. He was in Saudi Arabia for a cultural festival, but the authorities were worried he would attract too many women. Saudi Arabia feared many female visitors to the festival may fall for Omar. So that's why he was told by authorities that he had to leave the country entirely. But this only made him more famous, gaining him over 1 million followers online.